Welcome to the Books, Beards, Booze podcast, where we talk books, drink booze, and have beards.
All right. As always, I am Bob of Tales by Bob.
I'm the ass of the podcast, Derek.
Oh, I'm creative consultant Tanya, who just ate some sour candy.
Oh, the face is
Oh,
amazing.
I don't like sour things.
All right, so
I don't.
to preface this,
It got me in my jowls. I don't like it.
during the break, Derek whipped out his Haribo twin snakes, which are
Wow, that sounds real aggressive.
so Derek got out some gummies that are in the shape of snakes, and the brand is Haribo, and they're real good. But Tanya was shit talking him. Like, oh God, it doesn't matter what flavor you give me; they all taste the same. Da, 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 da.
Most gummies do taste the same.
No, they don't.
And we were like, these are Haribo. Watch yourself.
Yeah,
They're the best gummies out there. And then now she's actually eating them and discovering, oh my God, they have all sorts of different flavors.
Ugh, I just don't like sour things.
how dare
All right.
you?
So this is our monthly short reads episode. The two stories. So I picked a couple cyberpunky kind of stories. These are not super heavy cyberpunk.
Had you read these previously?
I read them when I picked them.
And then you still picked them after reading them?
Wow. Okay.
Let Bob set the stage.
All right. So the stories are Party Discipline by Cory Doctorow and Old Media by Annalee Newitz. I don't know Annalee Newitz, but Cory Doctorow is kind of he's a known name, kind of out and about. Yeah. I was in the mood for, I decided I wanted to do some cyberpunk,
Yeah.
and I just basically went to Tor.com and was like, what you got for me, Tor? And there were a couple stories I passed on. Like, I started reading, I was like, no. And these are the two I settled on because I liked them.
Oh,
So, all right.
Okay.
Which one would y'all like to cover first? The shorter one, Old Media, or the longer one, Party Discipline? Do y'all have a preference?
I don't really have a preference.
Which one did you like?
I
Either
liked
of them?
one more than the other.
All right, let's do the one you liked more.
Okay, that's the Party Discipline
All right,
one.
Party Discipline. We're doing Party Discipline first.
I liked that one better.
I liked it a lot.
I didn't like it at all.
Okay. All right. So, if you haven't read it, the premise.
That's over. That's too harsh. I continue.
I have some issues with it. The more I think on it, the more I'm okay with. But initially, I was like, But all right. So the basic premise is hugely dystopic world. High school kid wants to stick one to the man, and they throw what's called a communist party, which is in this case, take over a factory, print some stuff for the homeless, and then go on about their lives.
They use up. Okay, because the factory's going to close.
Right,
And
yes,
so
the
they
factory's
use
closing.
up all the rest of the materials so that it can't be liquidated for profit. So they return the stuff to the masses. They
Yeah.
seized the
Well, yeah.
means of production for
Yeah.
the masses.
Okay.
Yeah,
But that's the
clever.
So that's the core. It's a fairly long story.
It was.
Almost a bit of a novella.
It was a medium read.
It's,
Not a short read.
It was. What's it called? There's something that's longer than a short story, but shorter than a novella. I can't remember. It's like a novelette.
Novelette,
It was
yeah.
a novelette.
So yeah, I thought it was very well written. From a prose standpoint, the characters seemed believable. The world seemed believable. Yeah, and I enjoyed it.
My favorite line is when
I do have a favorite.
they're
line.
trying to figure out how our two protagonists pretty much.
Sherelle and Janae.
I was
Yeah.
just about to ask how you guys said their names.
I didn't.
Oh yeah, definitely ask me.
Hey Bob, how do you say their names?
Sherelle and Janae.
You do realize that the second one starts with an L, not a J, right?
Lene. Yeah,
Lene,
yeah.
yeah.
Sherelle and Lene.
Also, I looked at that for
I have a
all
friend
time.
named Janae.
I looked at it all the whole time and kind of was like, by the end of it, I think that's just Shirley, just spelled weird.
Well, it could be.
But I couldn't decide.
Maybe.
So that's why I wanted to
know.
ask how you guys said it in your head.
I
don't know.
didn't.
You just, I identify that name with a person.
Yes.
Yeah.
I thought it was Sherelle.
Yeah, that's what I thought the most time. But then as I got through it, I was like, I don't know.
Well, I can see where it could be Shirley.
Or just a fucked up Cheryl.
Yeah,
that could be Cheryl too.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Well, anyway, my favorite line where they're just basically trying to mute their phones so they wouldn't be spied on. It's like, waterproof is pudding proof. Like, I loved it. It's just like, oh, that's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
I liked, my favorite line was, and I honestly, I have this written down. I don't even remember what the context was anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember reading it and writing it down because I was just like, okay. Nah, you didn't. That fool went to jail. I don't even remember what they're talking about, but it just made me crack up.
It's probably her shitty taste in guys.
No, I think it was before that.
Can we address the Candy Cowboys?
I love it.
That is so weird, but so believable.
Yeah, I love it.
Curious about
Okay, so apparently, I was reading in the comments because I love reading. Like, one of the few places I like reading comments is Tor, like their comment section. It still has it's the internet. It still has a little bit of political charge to it, but by and large, a lot of the time, it is just people like, oh man, I love this, but I also loved this by them, or oh man, I didn't like this one. They have better stories, stuff like that. Like, there's pretty good comments generally. I think he wrote a book in this setting called The Walkaways, I think. So, or maybe it was a short story, maybe it was a novella. He's written something called The Walkaways, and I was led to believe it was a book. So I like the world. I thought the world was very believable, just like
I enjoyed it.
But the Candy Cowboys, like, all I could think of the whole time was Pee Wee Herman, man. I just get the cowboy from Pee Wee Herman and how, like, Pee Wee Herman's aesthetic. Like, that's how I envisioned him. I envisioned him walking around as...
He's supposed to be super attractive, Bob. Are you trying to tell us something?
What? The cowboy was pretty attractive. Wasn't the cowboy Lawrence Fishburne in Pee Wee Herman?
I didn't watch Pee Wee Herman.
Curtis the Cowboy?
Curtis Cowboy. I thought, wasn't that Lawrence?
Yeah, it was Lawrence. But I don't fucking know, man.
I mean, he's attractive enough. I mean, I'm not saying I want to, sleep with him or anything, but I mean, Lawrence Fishburne's an attractive man. Right?
There was somebody on AL that used Curtis the Cowboy as his
Lawrence Fishburne. Yeah, I looked at
forever. Yeah, I knew it was, but I didn't. For some reason, I thought it was a different show that Curtis the Cowboy was on because I don't remember Pee Wee's
Playhouse.
Yeah, like I know I watched it, but I don't.
But yeah,
that's neither here nor there.
I just the way that. Can we just agree to call her Shirley?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. The way Shirley was like, look, I know he's an idiot. I know he's bad. He's fun though.
Can relate.
Like, he's a candy cowboy. Which is so dumb. Yet and the cuddle parties that they talk about, like, it makes me think of GT South.
Oh my gosh, the
every
cuddle
time you said it, I assumed that. I was like, oh.
Yeah.
No,
it was the perfect amount of creepy and cringy and hilarious.
Yeah. I enjoyed so much about this particular story. I think mostly because I was able to suspend my disbelief and really get sucked into the world. That was not the case for old media for me. But this book...
Well, I think part of the difference there is one seemingly takes place maybe 10, maybe 20 years in the future, and the other takes place like 150 years in the future.
Yeah, see, that's my thing. For
old media is much farther in the future.
Yeah, like sci-fi stuff. Like, I liked this story better because I didn't have to remember when this happens in the future. It's just kind of nebulously in the future, sometime when bad things have happened. I was like, cool, I don't have to put a timestamp on that.
Yeah. So that made me think of something. Derek, you asked me, like, what do I, like, last week, you asked me, like, what do I like so much about Cyberpunk? And I kept thinking about that after the fact. And I finally thought one of the things is I like how it's all set near in the future.
Right.
And it's a way to envision what the future could be like. And I really enjoy that. And I enjoy that so much more than a lot of regular sci-fi. Because regular sci-fi, it's so advanced that there's no... I mean, like, okay, maybe maybe that's how the future turns out, but it's so removed from what our life is like. Whereas Cyberpunk, so much of it is set,
It's kind of what things what it would be like if we had a sudden, like, enormous jump in technology.
Yeah.
Suddenly. Because we would still be in the same spot, and then we would have to deal with the ramifications of a sudden lurch.
Right, yeah.
Without the time to come to grips with it. And
which, to a degree, I think we're
better.
kind of starting to kind of get there a little bit. I think we're having a huge jump in technology with, like, the internet and now self-driving cars and stuff like that, but it is going slower than I think people 30 years ago thought it was going to go.
Yeah.
So,
which is still infinitely faster.
Oh yeah,
than,
it's so fast. But anyway, so Derek, what are some things you didn't like about it?
That was what I was gonna say. I was like, basically, I really just didn't. I can admit what it was, and it bothered me, and it's such a stupid thing, but it stuck with me the whole time. It was like,
was it because you can't be a candy cowboy? Because Derek, you can be a candy cowboy.
I can do what I want. No, it was legitimately just that they were just like, we're just gonna break the law. That bothered me the whole time, and I understand, like, I get it, but at the same time, I don't know why it stuck in my head. I was just like, this is like, do you have any idea how, like, this is not. Why are you... Stop!
Well, okay, so two things. One, I liked that because it was so believable. Because they're high school kids. I think back to some of the stuff I did
too
when I
have
was a high school
been
kid.
a 17, 18
Yeah,
year
it was like,
old
it was so believable just because, like...
But see, that my thing is...
not read, like, on the one hand, you seem like you understand how bad this could fuck your life up.
But I don't think you really do.
But I don't think you really do.
See, that's the thing about that was if it had actually fucked them, I would have enjoyed the story more.
Well, so playing...
Hold on. Also, here's the thing. You were saying, it's like, I know what it's like to be that age and think it's like, yes, but see, this is literally why I didn't go to parties in high school, because I was still, that feeling that came over me while reading it was the feeling I had back when people were walking up and down highways drunk, going to friends' mothers and saying things that could have been interpreted as pickup lines.
Yeah.
You know who you are.
Yeah.
No, I definitely...
I did once almost
Yeah.
flirt with a... I didn't flirt with her. She was definitely flirting with me. Came to realize after the fact, but a friend's mom at a party.
Yikes. Yikes. No, I 100% can relate to the protagonist and that kind of... want to cause a ruckus and do good things, but don't really know how to do it. So we're just gonna break in here.
Well,
and
so
make some buggies.
here was kind of my big thing. One thing I thought was super interesting about this, the protagonist doesn't actually do fucking anything for real. She doesn't do anything. And so part of how I related to this, why I liked it so much, the more I got to thinking about it, because that was me. Like, I am or was fucking Lene. Like, very much like an idea, like, oh yeah, no, let's do this thing.
And have other people kind of help it come together.
Well, what ended up happening was my friends were just as lazy as I was to a large degree, and so nothing ever came of a lot of stuff. But it's very much like the whole, like, oh man, no, yeah, let's do this thing, like let's go to Dragon Con, just something as simple as that. Like, oh man, yeah, we're definitely going to go to Dragon Con, and year after year we never went to Dragon Con, because it was basically just being all talk and ideas and no
Follow through.
But see, here on the podcast, we get to talk and have ideas and also do the thing.
Yeah. But so then, Shirley is the hero of the story. Everything that happens is because of her,
It's her cousin who really gets stuff going.
Well, she makes the connection with the cousin. Mm-hmm. Even just something so simple as she instructs Lene how to take her old phone and get it updated, something that simple. Every step of the way, Shirley is, she's making all the decisions, yada yada yada. All Lene brought to the party was the idea of let's have a party.
It wasn't even an original idea. There's been
there were other communist parties
from the story. There's more.
Yeah, and that bothered me too. It's like when they asked the question, like, why does it have to be a party? Like that was one thing that I wrote down. I was like, that really bothered me.
Well,
Like,
one thing I
this
did
is
like.
the stupidest way to do this thing that you want to do.
Well, one thing I did like was when she was asked, like, well, why does it have to be a party? She's like, I don't know.
Yeah, I appreciated that.
Yeah, I was like, okay, yeah, no,
Yeah, see-
that seemed very real because that's something very 17-year-old.
Yeah.
Like, man, fuck yeah, let's have a party with it.
Pretty much the and as I'm thinking about it, I did enjoy this more than I thought I did. I didn't like it because
No, I get stories that stress you out. Like that's why I don't like a lot of
it
like
didn't stress me out. It just made me
Well-
mad the whole time. I was like, I don't like thieves.
Well,
and they
yeah.
were stealing stuff, and it was just like,
well,
damn
so
it.
like the like mistaken identity kind of, or like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm pretending to be someone else.
Yeah.
I hate
You're super
those books. They
stressed.
stress me out. I don't like reading them because they stress me out. It's like, oh God, they're gonna find who you are. Oh, they're gonna figure it out. It stresses me out.
Yeah.
Far more than it should.
We've met.
Yeah.
Bob.
But so like I can see why if like that's
It's
from
just
the
there's a
outset you're
certain
just,
thing. I don't know.
Yeah, no,
so-
that's
and-
fair. I can see that. But
And
like
what I said might not even be the right thing. I'm still kind of
There's just-
processing.
yeah,
There's
no, there's-
something in there that made me not enjoy the act of reading it. But the only thing that I did like was the relationship between the two girls.
Yeah.
Because like I loved the fact that every time Lene was like, "Wait, this was my idea," and the other one's like, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
yeah.
And like it was just like, yes, it was your idea. The only reason I'm fucking doing this is because it was your idea and I got your back.
Yeah.
This is going to end horribly because I know those people.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
that's-
it's just the way she was like, yeah, I did all this fucking research because I don't want us to go to fucking jail.
Yeah.
and I,
You know?
yeah,
Like
But-
if Lene had done this, they would all have gone to jail, pretty much. But Shirley stepping in, saving that. But one cool. I don't know if I said this, but I just really like the fact of the story. Like it very much follows Lene, but it's really like she's the protagonist, but really she's just a spectator. Shirley's the driving force of the story, and I just kind of like that. Like you're seeing the driving force like one step removed kind of deal. I just kind of liked how that was done.
because normally I don't like when the character's not being proactive, but by being a part of this duo, she's kind of being proactive.
Yeah.
but she's not the one taking the action.
And I'll say
but
she did
is
do some
spurring-
little things. Like she had the idea of, oh well, let's throw a party, or let's have the Candy Cowboys throw a party as cover. So she wasn't completely useless.
Yeah,
she'd
I'm
have
not-
some little things that she helped out along the way.
Right.
But yeah, no, she was definitely she was the face,
not the leader.
but not the leader. Yeah.
Can we just talk about how realistically stressful it is to think about having gone to college and then be homeless and living in a library parking lot getting buggies from people?
And see that's one thing I really
Yikes.
like talking about. Like what I like about Cyberpunk is like that is something I could definitely like see a correlation now. Just like the moment when that woman was like, oh yeah, watch out for this class. Yeah, I got straight A's and everything too, but watch out for this class. It was really hard, and did the
Lin-
exact same degree program that Lene is going into.
Yeah, and Lene's like,
And-
oh, fuck, I
oh,
thought A's would
fuck.
save me.
Yeah. And
They
just like
don't.
but that's something you could kind of see, just like
Yeah.
with student loan debt being a real issue today and stuff like that. You
Yikes.
can kind of
Yeah.
see a correlation there, and like that's something a lot more relatable than reading sci-fi about laser guns.
Pew, pew.
Pew pew.
How dare you, sir?
Yeah,
Um,
so.
anything you want to add on that before we move to the next story, or shall we dive into the story Tanya hates?
I have a very strong opinion about the next story as well.
Okay,
Great.
Well, let's dive into it.
Old media.
Yeah. First off, let me just say I looked up the anime that they're watching
Stop,
is a
Bob. Stop, Bob. That's what my problem is.
Okay.
I love this show. I've seen this show multiple
Oh, you've watched this
times.
anime?
Oh, yes.
I had never heard of it.
And
I
the
looked it up to find out
dude,
if it was
it's
real.
fucking fun as shit. Like,
Yeah.
So you probably know this story and just don't realize that this is it.
Okay.
I told a story, or I've talked to people frequently about the fact that one night I had a lot to drink and I was very bored, and I wanted to watch anime, but I had no idea what. So I went to Netflix and was like, what is the thing that looks the least like something I would watch?
And it was this.
And it was this. And I turned it on, and by the end of the first episode, I was like, this is fucking hilarious. I love this.
Okay.
But no, that's my problem. It's because I was with them. they misrepresent a scene in that show. And I fucking read it and I was like, they were not disgusted by the coffee. The instant coffee, those rich kids, they were not disgusted by that instant coffee. They were looking at the instant coffee like it was something like, oh, I don't know if I'm allowed to drink this. My dad's going to be mad at me if I do this.
Yeah. So here's a question for you.
But no one freaked out about it. How dare they?
Well, so
can't eat the scup.
Here's a question for you. So obviously, whoever, obviously Annalie Newitz has seen this anime.
I have my doubts now.
Well,
that was my point.
No, so here's the thing, though. If she likes this and followed enough to put it into her story, I feel like she probably likes this anime. Do you think maybe she intentionally misrepresented it because it's people 150 years in the future trying to view it, and maybe she threw that in
robot?
Like a robot and a guy whose specialty is old media. Maybe she threw that in there to kind of show that maybe he doesn't know this as well as he thinks he knows this. Maybe
doubtful, but no, because they do make a point of it. It could be, but that bothered me.
Yeah, no,
I
can get that. I just like that this is not the second story that revolves around watching.
However, I would point
watching anime.
Yeah. I would point out though.
Yeah.
I don't know how big of a fan of this show this person is, considering every scene they reference was from the first episode.
Okay, so maybe they did just
fuck up.
Yeah, who knows?
It's a great
Tanya.
First episode.
So let's unwrap Tanya. Oh, so for those who don't know, this is a slice of life story. Nothing really happens in this. It's very much just, I think it's like 5 days in the life of a former slave. Like, clearly stuff has happened to him in the past, but it's only referenced to in the past. And it's basically just like, him going to school, him going to work, him coming home. Boom. And that's the story. He lives with a robot that they are in love with each other.
But you don't find that out till the very end.
Till the very end.
And
Well,
then,
I mean, it's pretty obvious though.
You can be friends with somebody without.
Well, I'll be honest.
They dropped the hint,
to me, I didn't know because I didn't know to what degree robots.
We don't have feelings.
Yeah, like in this setting, I didn't know to what degree. Like, is that a thing? Do robots in this setting fall in love, kind of deal?
I did like how our robot lady, Meg,
I think.
Mac.
Just say it like this, Meg.
Meg.
So that can kind of sound like it could be okay.
Meg.
Okay.
I'll just look. I mean, I've still got it pulled.
But yeah,
up.
I like how when he asks her, like, hey, can't you just download some Japanese Matrix style? And she's like, bro, it don't work like that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, no, I really like that.
She's like, I
too.
can get the information, but I'm not going to really know what to do
Well,
with
and
it.
there's a classic thought experiment, the Chinese box, I think, and I can't remember the exact details, but the idea is if you put someone in a box and had you put slips Med. Okay, Med. If you put a slip of paper in there and they were trained, like when you see this symbol, you push this symbol through this other slot. And what they're doing is they're translating. The idea is this person is translating Mandarin into Japanese. And it's so they don't actually know what they're doing. I mean, they could be doing perfect translations, but they don't actually know the language. It's a whole thought experiment kind of deal. So I do think that was really cool. Just and it shows a lot of the problem with machine learning. Is yes, you could, just
the nuance of the
you
stuff,
but it don't have the context. So I thought that was really cool. And then how they then reference that later on in the story to the concept of well, couldn't you just download a horny app basically and well I could, but
I'm not gonna know what to do with it.
I'm not gonna do it. I don't want to.
No.
My only curiosity is
how good is that robot sex?
No, was what you hated so much about it.
I just didn't enjoy the story. I mean, there's nothing fundamentally wrong with it.
Okay, that was all I was confused
you were
about.
You were real huffy.
She was just tired.
It was not an enjoyable read. I was tired of reading it. It was I don't particularly like it.
I'll say that
there's nothing inherently wrong with it.
Yeah.
I'll
say the thing I actually enjoyed the most was the world building. Just especially talking about this past and stuff like that, how he became to be a slave and stuff like that. Because it was just showing what this world is like. I'm not inherently interested in a guy watching anime and showing his roommate an anime. That's not an inherently intriguing story concept for me. But
yeah, because you haven't seen the show.
Well, sure, but you wrap it up in this
larger package.
Yeah, and like just all these little off like self-repairing scarves.
Scarves, yeah.
I was like, that's neat. Like, how do you have a self-repairing scarf? That's awesome. It's just a little throwaway line, but I sat there like, a self-repairing scarf. That sounds amazing.
Well, and
I
see,
don't
like,
wear scarves, but I might.
I've been thrifting a lot lately. And so I was kind of thinking about from there 150 years from now, whatever, like thrifting and seeing some shit like that and being like, well, I can't tell if it's old or new. I don't know. It's a self-repairing scarf.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And so another thing that I really liked about it was it got me thinking partly about like Starship Troopers. So Starship Troopers, if you're not aware, the idea there is you are not a citizen until you have served.
Right.
And so a lot of people serve in the military. So you have to do years of service to become a citizen.
You have to do something, some kind of community or civil service.
Yeah. And so, but the way that this talked, and so like that's, I don't necessarily agree with that, but it's an intriguing concept to just think and play around with in your head. Like, should there be, before you can vote, should you have to have provided service? Just
kind
stuff
of like the
that.
thing where people are like, should doctors have to be cut on to be surgeons?
Yeah, stuff like that. So like this thought like that.
To know what the pain that you're causing feels like.
Yeah, not heard that.
No.
Well, by your duck lips, I could tell. But
The furrowed brow didn't give it away.
No,
but
it was
No,
the,
it's-
the incredulity leaking from your
Yes.
mouth.
Okay.
Yeah. But the other thing was when he talked about like the how he was enfranchised with the city.
Yeah, that was neat.
That was a cool concept that I would like to see more of. I would like to read more stuff with that to see how it plays out. Like, so what's the life like for someone who's not enfranchised?
Slavery.
Well, no,
Hiding.
I don't think it's that though. I think it just, for some people, sure, but the vibe I got was there are some citizens that are franchised in this town, and then some that probably aren't, and they probably just don't get the same access to stuff.
Well, he was
or
saying. Well, he
something.
kind of listed. Like you get to use public services and go to school and use the internet
for
and-
free. No, you get free
Not
stuff.
that you just get to use it.
Yeah,
but it is
it's free version of that. So I feel like there's.
So I assume
there-
you still can get it normally.
You
it's
just have to pay an
yeah,
ass load.
and
I would imagine.
but also he was enfranchised with in Saskatoon, which led me to believe that like okay, so he's not Canadian, he's Saskatoonian. Which funny thing, Cory Doctorow is actually Canadian. I don't
Wait.
know if Annalee Newitz is, but it's kind of neat that one story's set in Canada
The other
and the
one's
other one's written
Canadian
by a
on it,
Canadian. But so I just like
Saskatoon's not in Canada. It is in Canada, is it?
oh, it is, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh no, that's one is set in Canada and the other is written by a guy in Canada. I don't know if Annalee
Okay.
Newitz is Canadian. But yeah, no. So it was. I like it. I like the story. I would like to know more just about the both of these stories just left me wanting to know more about the world. Like I feel like the stories are somewhat done. I want
kind
to
of-
know about the world.
It kind of made me feel a little bad about when I call on the phone and I just press 0 because I don't want to talk to the automated robot person. Just let me talk to a real life human. And then the librarian.
Are you hurting the robot's voice or feelings?
Well, the bitch needs to learn how to listen to me better.
Nah, probably they don't want to talk to you neither. so-
Fine.
Fair. I wouldn't.
I will say that I interacted with one of those, like you go to a website to like your bank or something, there's a little bot that pops up in the corner like, hey, let us know if you need anything. Well, I actually handled some business through I had to change my name on my JCPenney credit card, and I did it through a bot. Just
Yeah.
do.
I've had
And it was
very
great.
mixed results with that. I've had
Now the
sometimes-
Verizon bot can go fuck a duck.
Yeah, no,
Like,
it really can.
awful.
It's stupid.
Awful.
It is stupid. Yeah, but I've had good bot experiences too.
I bought a bot. I used a bot when I played World of Warcraft.
You.
Honor
You're a
buddied.
trash
I
human.
honor buddied. Fishing, man. Fuck sitting there fishing. And I was trying to level up fishing and all
This is
my
the- this is
and mining.
This
I
is
just
the
had
part
it.
where I tell you that
Did you
Classic WoW is in open beta starting tomorrow. I think.
Does it help that my internet still
Yeah, I
doesn't
know.
work? So it's great.
That's why I said it. That's why I said it.
Oh, also super excited because I think Bud was in on this. I don't know if you talked to him about it, but Superfan Bud,
God, I'd play classic WoW.
League of Heroes, City of Heroes,
City of Heroes.
City of Heroes is
What
like
about it? You mean
back,
the thing that
kinda.
I think that I've been playing for the past month every day
Yeah.
when I come home from work.
yeah.
Hey, Bob, it's a thing.
Have you been talking to Bud about it? Didn't he play?
He played it some.
Yeah,
He played.
it's back. It
Coincidentally, he played a character that was named, I think, Comrade God or Comrade something.
sounds about right.
Yeah, which was hilarious because
Yeah.
we just did the communist.
Yeah, Communist Party. And actually,
It
if
was
you remember,
How
if you
clever.
remember, if you
Maybe it
remember
was
back in the day, we threw that
We
party.
did throw a
Yeah.
party
We-
at Elm Street, and we
Yeah,
were
we had
the
the
flyer
Communist
was
Party.
all
Yeah, that's why-
communist.
Yeah, we had.
That's
Yeah.
what made me.
Yeah,
It was
and
fantastic.
that wasn't
I
his
still
name.
have that artwork.
I know that wasn't his character's name. Now it's bugging me. I'm annoyed now. Thanks, Bob.
You're welcome.
I just think I don't particularly care too awful much for cyberpunk. And I don't particularly care too awful much for steampunk. I just don't think it's really for me.
That's fair.
But maybe I haven't read enough of it.
I think
I'm going
these
to push
are,
back that the themes in this are completely uncyberpunky.
Yeah,
It's
these are not
very-
cyberpunk stories. These are stories in a cyberpunk-ish
I'm not even
setting.
yeah,
Just really just a dystopic setting.
it's not even
Yeah.
how
Well-
dystopic are like.
Well, the first one's very dystopic.
Well, it's
and seemingly the second one is also very dystopic because he got
got
sold to
slaved.
slavery
Well, no, no,
by
no.
a corporation.
I just mean that like
But let's be real, man. Aren't we all slaves to corporations?
get the fuck out of my house.
I make pennies on the dollar.
Get out of my house.
JC Pennies, it's a joke. See, I make pennies at pennies. Wah, 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 wah.
This
Jokes.
bitch.
God.
God, I say that all the time. People are like, oh, that's why you get paid the big bucks. I'm like, no, man, I get paid pennies. Because I work at pennies.
Wouldn't it be more accurate to say you
stupid.
make dollars on the pennies?
Oh, honey, that's implying that I make dollars.
Pennies on the dollars.
All right. You have anyone have anything you want to add on this last story?
Meh.
I think
I definitely like the first story more.
Yeah.
I don't know. I liked them both okay.
Yeah.
The first one was a more enjoyable read for me. The second one was just, I don't know if it was how it was written. I don't know if it was the content, but it was just kind of.
dino feathers.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
That was weird.
So
The whole dino feathers thing.
So
That was
is he
weird.
like genetically growing them out of his head?
Yes, I think so.
So my biggest thing probably was just that in both of these stories, like pretty much the only like I only cared about the interactions between the characters, which is weird to me because if this was supposed to be built up as this two cyberpunk stories, you'd think I would be paying more attention to the world. I wasn't really feeling
Okay,
it.
well, I'll say this. I think that might be somewhat of a testament to how well the world building was done.
'Cause you
and that
didn't
it
pay
was-
attention to
It was
it?
fairly seamless. Like but there's so many stuff if you go back and pay attention, just the way that they describe, like doing a hand gesture to transfer a file over.
Yeah.
You know, like it's a very seamless thing, but the technology behind that is pretty intense.
Did you see that is that cropped up on either of y'all's Facebook where Google is actually testing where you can rub your fingers together to scroll over your phones? Like they're actually doing hand gestures.
I saw that, and this is the dumbest thing I think I've seen Facebook do.
Oh, they're cryptocurrency?
No,
No,
I'm
I
actually
don't-
no the crypto. I'm actually okay with the
The
cryptocurrency.
Facebook cryptocurrency?
It's because it's not Facebook cryptocurrency. Facebook is one.
Cryptocurrency itself is so
Bruh,
fucking
no,
stupid.
No. Look. All right. Straight up, I think cryptocurrencies are going to be a major part of our future. Just straight up, like however you feel about them,
I
they
just
are
don't understand it. It's literally nothing there, and all we're doing is saying, hey, in my hand, I promise, I have 5 green jelly beans, and I swear to God, they're worth
Tanya,
like $50.
Tanya, how is that any different from your actual cash money or your debit card?
Well, I already know with the debit card, I get paid in pixels.
Well, no, the thing about that is like it's the faith in the U.S. government.
I know
backs
it's
that up.
I know it's fiat money that we use
So-
that we're not backed by gold and silver.
Like
I
I'm not
get
here
it.
to I'm not here to suck Bitcoin's dick or anything
get
like
off
that.
my lawn, you whippersnappers,
But
and
look,
pay in real money.
Cryptocurrency is definitely
Stupid.
going to be a thing. It's not dumb.
Yes.
I really like the idea behind it. I just think they got to work the kinks out, and I think this is a good step forward because this is like 40 big name companies coming together to form an exchange, basically. So it's going to be. In theory, you're not going to have the wild price swings of something like Bitcoin. You're not going to have it be worth $20,000 of Bitcoin one day, and 3 months later it'd be worth $7,000, like it currently is. This
just
will be a
don't get
more regulated kind of Bitcoin that's outside of government hands, which I'm not opposed to.
I am
Why is that?
a lot. I don't want to talk about it. It's political stuff that I don't want to talk about on the show.
Like,
Oh,
this just
okay.
seems so. You fucking nerds. Like, that's just it. That's just what I want to say. But like, I got 17 video game processor things so I can make up fake currency.
That's some one.
Like, look, you fucking nerds, get a job and get real money. I don't know. Like, I hate it. Because I don't understand it. I hate it because I don't understand it.
My biggest concern with it, with like previously of Bitcoin and stuff like that,
was the price of processors.
Yeah, that was some nonsense. And graphics cards and shit.
Yeah.
I just don't get it.
Shit still hasn't recovered.
Yeah.
Still hasn't
You're
recovered.
mining things out of video game process. Like, I
just stop. Just
don't fucking understand this.
All right, we're not gonna, okay, we're gonna end there. We're gonna end at Tanya's utter confusion.
Is it Minecraft? But for real, I just don't get it. I don't understand this.
please forgive Granny. She
anyway,
grew up in a different time.
To quickly,
oh my god, am I the racist grandma?
Yes. So the dumb thing that Facebook's doing is you can now shake your phone to report something. Like, if you have Facebook open and you want to report something, you can literally jack your phone off, and it'll report. It's so dumb because like people are gonna be reporting shit left and right in their pocket. Like, it's dumb.
I'm sure it's off by default.
I don't know. I don't know. Corey was showing it to me.
Facebook
is
is stupid.
Right.
Saying someone who I have multiple Facebook accounts. Facebook's stupid. Social media's dumb. Technology's dumb. Fuck cyberpunk. Let's all go back to tablets.
All right.
With
so
stone hinges.
in the coming week, as you taste the delicious Haribo treat that is your coming days,
Get out of my house
and ignore Tanya. I hope that you get all the flavors that you like and none of the ones that you don't. And may the blessing of the beard be upon you.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Books, Beards, Booze. Our co-hosts are Bob, Derek, and Tanya. Our producer is Bob. For more information, visit our website, booksbeardsbooze.com. Follow our social media at Tales by Bob. If you enjoyed this podcast, please rate, subscribe, and share. Okay, bye.